G'day and welcome back to day 14. It's a Saturday, and so as it's Shabbat, there's no Yad Vashem program, so we did a tour with our guide, Amir Galani. He took us, first of all, out of Jerusalem, and we went out, passed through into the West Bank, and headed down to Masada. Masada is an absolutely amazing fortress built on the top of a hill of a mountain by Herod the Great. And Herod the Great was not a particularly popular king. He was installed by the Romans, so therefore was seen as not only in league with the Romans, but he also usurped the line of Jewish kings that had been around for a long time. So he was not particularly popular. So what he did was he ensured that he had places that he could escape to in times of trouble. And on top of this hill, because he had multiple wives, he built multiple palaces for his different wives. And he had storerooms and huge cisterns, and basically there was a garrison there for him to ensure that at all times he was fully stocked in case something happened. Now, he didn't actually, some historians think he didn't even use it at all, didn't even visit it, but it's all there. And during the revolt, when the Jews revolted against the Romans in 66 AD, the Second Temple was destroyed in 70 AD, and some zealots, Jewish zealots, fled to Masada and snuck up and surprised the Roman garrison that was there and took it over and held it. Now, because it's right near the Dead Sea, and on the other side of the Dead Sea you've got the Parthians, who the Romans were forever fighting against, and sometimes taking some territory, sometimes losing, etc., etc. They needed Masada to be in Roman hands. So eventually in 73 AD, Romans came to take the fortress back. Unfortunately, it's quite hard to get up to. So what the Romans eventually did, they first of all built a massive wall around it to ensure that, at the bottom of it, to ensure no one could get in or out. But there was enough supplies there. There's only about 900 odd zealots in the community, men, women, and children. And so they could have stayed up there for years. So what the Romans did was build a massive earthen ramp up the hill, and then took their kind of siege engines up and battered down the wall, the stone wall, into the fortress. Unbeknownst to them, what the defenders had done was build behind the wall another wall made of wood and dirt, and it was flexible. It was able to actually withstand the battering rams. So the Romans fired it, and it started catching fire. Then the wind picked up, and the defenders believed a miracle had occurred. It blew back into the Romans' faces and started burning some of their engines. Everyone cheered, and then the wind turned back again and caught alight the structure they'd built, and it burnt to the ground. So the next day the Romans would go up in force to take the castle, and what they did not realize was the leader of these zealots had convinced everyone to commit suicide. So they walked up and found silence. I think there was about a couple of women and children who'd hidden in the cisterns rather than be killed, but everyone else had died free rather than become slaves. So that became a story of resistance to the Jewish people, and often, people in the Israeli Defense Force go there, and they used to take their oaths there as well. It was sort of quite a kind of symbol for the Jewish people of resistance, and they will not go into slavery again. From an archaeological point of view, it's a fascinating view into the kind of remains of a Romanized Jewish palace or palaces. So you've got the traditional Jewish baths there, both public and the private, for the families of Herod. And I think most of all, you just had an absolutely stunning view. I took a whole bunch of photos and videos. All the videos I've got of all these places, I'm going to put together, and I'll make a whole bunch of videos, and I'll release them throughout this year. I obviously don't have time to do it right now. Following this, we went back down, grabbed some lunch, did some shopping, and then headed to the Dead Sea, which was amazing. We kind of went to this resort, and you could tell it was winter. Not many people there. It was this private kind of beach thing, 20 shekels to get in, and like on first appearances, nothing to write home about. Much nicer beaches in Australia. When you get into the water, it's just this strange buoyancy that is just very hard to describe. We rubbed the old mud all over us as well. Yeah, so we spent about an hour in there soaking up, enjoying the sensation, the classic photo of the legs up. Beautiful. Went up, some people grabbed a drink. We headed home. I listened to the first half of Liverpool on the audio commentary, on the Wi-Fi on the bus. Buses in Jerusalem have Wi-Fi on them. You can just sign up and use the bus's Wi-Fi. So good win from Liverpool. Great to see them back to winning ways, having lost twice already while I'm over here. And then we headed out for dinner. Often on Saturday night, it's reheated food because they're not allowed to cook. So we decided to head out and had a lovely meal together and just walked around the old city once more. So that's enough for today. Tomorrow, huge day. Getting up early, heading out north, going past Jericho and up to the Golan Heights, overlooking Syria, Sea of Galilee, eating at a famous kibbutz with fish they've got out of the Sea of Galilee, and then back. I think we're getting back around 8:30. So it's a massive day, full of driving, but very, very exciting at the same time. So I will speak to you whenever I manage to do this again.